All right, I think we are live. I always like to give a couple second pause if you've ever seen me go live before, because I never know what's going to happen. Hey everyone, if you don't know me, my name is Steve Gonzer, physical therapist with Run Smart Online. I want to talk to you guys about the secret of PRing, because I consider myself by most counts an average athlete. I always have been. My family will probably confirm that statement, but I want to share with you the secret to PRing, because I've run a 251 marathon. I'm going to show you the results of that here shortly in a 122 half. Now, I'm definitely rounding these down. One of them was like 251 and 54 seconds, but to me, 251. And then a 122 half. I want to show you those runs and the pacing strategies, but also, you know, I'm not saying that you're going to get the same results, but there's things that you can do to take yourself and leverage everything you have on race day so that you can run faster to the finish line, you can stop shuffling, and you can just overall get a better result, right? Because who wants to train for weeks and months just to get to race day and see the whole thing just blow up on them? I figured this out not too long ago, and we're including everything that I've learned, and I'm going to show you here today in a program called Need for Speed. If you're interested in learning how to do some of these strategies, have me teach you. It's a 4-week program. You can go to openmystride.com. Now, the first thing I want to show you is Grandma's Marathon. And a little tidbit here is I have 2 kids now, both very young, so my running is coming to stay sane. So I am still running. If you follow me on Strava, you'll see that. But I want to show you Grandma's Marathon. So the Grandma's Marathon, let me just lay the background for you. My son was just born. He was 6 months old roughly when I trained for this race. I got to the start line and it was raining, it was wet, it was miserable. Luckily it cleared up as the race went on. And if you ever run Grandma's Marathon, it's pretty flat and maybe it's a little bit undulating downhill, uphill at the end, but for the most part it is pretty flat. So I have not been racing marathons for a couple years now because of family life and work and things, but I am still running, so you can follow me on Strava to see that. But here's what I want to show you is, this is my Strava account from my Grandma's Marathon. Let me see if I get this right. Actually, let me show you this first. So this is a race photo of me late in the race, and you're gonna probably identify with this because this sucks. And when you're late in a race, it feels terrible and you just want to quit, you just want to stop, you just want to slow down sometimes. So when I'm saying like this wasn't easy, I'm showing you the photo evidence for this. This is late in the stage in Grandma's Marathon. Let me know in the comments if you have any great race photos like this and been on the struggle bus. But this is late in Grandma's Marathon and I hurt. You know, when you get to this point in any race, you start thinking like, do I really need to be out here? Oh my God, just slow down, let it go. And I want to show you the strategy I used to push through. I'm going to go back to that photo in a minute, but let me show you the results, because what you're going to see is I started off with a pace that was reasonable for my training at the time, and that's going to be important for everybody. If you want to get your best result on race day, you can't race like a dummy and just go out like it's Braveheart battle scene screaming and running. So you're going to see the evenness of the pace, but I want to show you that photo was roughly around mile 20, and what the strategy I used to fight back so that I could sustain my pace. And then the follow-up, I'm just going to show you my half marathon as well. I couldn't find the photo of this. I'm going to see if I can post in the comments later, because it looks like I'm about to drop at the finish line. And these races weren't easy, but there's things that you can do to leverage your run form to make them the results a lot better. So again, if you're interested in learning more about this, go to openmystride.com. We have a program coming up that's going to get started here shortly. But let me show you, this is Grandma's Marathon. So 251.54, as I told you, I round that baby straight down to a 251, and I averaged about 6:31 a mile. So let's go down here, and I want to just kind of look at this. So this is the course for Grandma's Marathon in Duluth, Minnesota. But here's where really what I want to focus on is, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit here, is on the pacing. So what you're going to see is I started off at 6:26, 6:19. You're going to see I pretty much sustained this pacing, a little drop here due to the downhill, and then I gave some back because I'm a smart runner. And you're just going to see the pacing pretty much hold steady right where it needed to. So I'm into mile 16. I'm still running 6:25s, 6:30s. Here's another 6:30, a 6:33. So what you're seeing here at this point, let me tell you, we're just about to come up on the part that got really hard in the run, and I needed to kick it into another gear. Now I call this a Need for Speed, I call it flipping the switch, and it's what we teach you, is that when you start to get to this point, and I can tell you I started hurting pretty good at this point, instead of just seeing, okay, 6:30s turn to 6:40s, or it doesn't matter the pacing, but you start seeing 10, 15 seconds a mile drop off the back of your run, you can actually stop that from happening by learning how to drive your knee and run from the hips. So I call it flip the switch in Need for Speed. That's the thing we teach you. And what you start doing is you start trying to drive from the knees. So let's go back to the pacing here, and I want to show you just how this thing finished out. So 19, 6:24, I fought back down. Now you're going to start to see at mile 20, I had a bump. But with what I teach in Need for Speed is we teach you how to fight back a little bit against these bumps and how to get your head right and how to get your run form in line. And you're going to see that I start to fight back. 6:35, 6:31, bringing it back down. Up, I had a blip in the mile. I slowed down a little bit. You're going to see me this late in the race start to try to fight my way back. And what you're seeing through mile 26, 6:41, is you're seeing a drift from typically what you see in a marathon is people just, that pace just drives upwards. They end up stashing time early in the race only to give it all back at the end of the race. Now if we go back to the photo I showed you, the one thing I want you to focus in on is that lower body. Now when I talk about this a lot in Need for Speed, it's all about learning how to drive this knee forward, get the leg to fling up. How do you run pretty much between the rib cage and the top of my short shorts there? And if you can learn how to drive the knee, this is essentially what I'm doing here, is I am leveraging my run form by driving that knee forward to take myself and carry it down the road so that I can maintain my pace. If you ever had a run where you just slowly, like every single run, you just get slower as the race goes on, it's because the effort's getting harder. But there's things that you can do to fight back against that. Now I want to show you this other race quick. Let's see if it shows up properly, which was a half marathon that I ran. Whoop. And this one, let me just give me a second. You can see from Strava is a 1:22:32. Again, we round that down to a 1:22, and I averaged 6:17 a mile here. So let's go ahead and scroll down a bit, and I want to show you the pacing here too because it was very similar. Okay, where am I? Here we go. So I started off a little hot. I came in at 6-minute miles, and I started to get settled in right after that. And I really was looking for those 6:10 to 6:15 pacing. You're going to see me hold on, and then now you're going to see this. I get overheating a little bit as I started to drift away from my goal pace. Really, that 6:15 is where I wanted to be. I started off a little hot, and then I settled in, and then I got on the struggle bus. Now this is another experience where Grandma's Marathon, I held it together a lot better. But here's the thing about this race that I want you to know is that when you get on the struggle bus, right, things are falling apart. You're seeing that pace slip and slip and slip. If you can learn to drive from the knees, if you can learn to push yourself forward and leverage your run form, you can actually transition away from running with your smaller muscles like your feet and your quads and shift up to your glutes and your core muscles and run from your glutes and your core and open your stride up. The tendency for most runners is to shorten it up, shuffle their way to the finish line and just hope that the race ends soon. You can do better things than that by learning to drive from your hips. That's what we're teaching in the upcoming program, Need for Speed. You can go to openmystride.com to check it out. I'm going to find my other photo for you guys and I'm posting in the comments so you can see it. But just know that you do have leverage over this. You train for months and years sometimes for a race to PR, to set these goals. Don't leave it up to chance. Don't try to train more to get the result you want. Sometimes all it takes is to leverage your run form. So if you're interested in learning the strategies I'm using here, again, the pacing doesn't matter. This works for all types of pacing. Go to openmystride.com. I'm going to show everyone how to do this in a 4-week course through the month of August. It is perfect for anyone training for an upcoming race. And the price is either going up or the course is closing soon. So go ahead and check that out at openmystride.com. And just remember, you can always round your times down. That's the law. It's a rule, right? So check that out, openmystride.com, and I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, hope everyone has a great day. I'm going out for a run actually now before I pick up the kiddos. Bye, guys.